Is astaxanthin really the ultimate antioxidant for your skin that can make you look smoother, healthier, and even a little tanned? Or is that wishful thinking dressed up as marketing hype? Let's slow things down and look at what the human research actually shows, and clear up some common myths about astaxanthin along the way. First up, the anti-aging and skin glow claims. Several small clinical trials suggest that astaxanthin may lead to modest improvements in skin hydration and elasticity. However, these same studies consistently show no meaningful reductions in wrinkles when astaxanthin is compared to a placebo. In these trials, researchers tested both oral supplements, roughly 2 to 12 milligrams per day for 4 to 16 weeks, and topical creams containing astaxanthin. Oral supplementation appears to have somewhat more noticeable and longer-lasting effects than creams, and there's a theoretical idea that using both together might work better than either alone, but that hasn't been clearly proven yet. So what does this mean in real life? Astaxanthin may offer subtle skin benefits over time, such as slightly better hydration and elasticity, but the changes are mild. If your goal is visible wrinkle reduction or stronger anti-aging effects, ingredients like niacinamide, vitamin C, or retinoid creams are far better studied and much more effective. By the way, I review a lot of supplements here, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated, and support me on Ko-fi if you enjoy the content. Another popular claim is that astaxanthin can act like a tanning pill and give you a tan. This idea doesn't hold up biologically. A real tan happens when ultraviolet or UV light triggers skin cells called melanocytes to produce melanin, which darkens the skin as a protective response. Astaxanthin doesn't activate this process. In fact, because it has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, it may actually reduce UV-induced pigmentation by calming down the signals that normally lead to melanin production. So where does the tanning myth come from? It likely comes from confusion from a condition called carotenosis. This happens when very large amounts of certain carotenoids, especially beta-carotene from foods like carrots, build up in the outer layers of the skin, giving it a yellow-orange tint. This discoloration is harmless and reversible, but it's not a tan. While astaxanthin and lycopene are carotenoids, they're consumed in much smaller amounts. Getting enough astaxanthin to cause visible skin color changes would be impractical and extremely expensive, and there's no clinical evidence that the typical supplement doses, usually just a few milligrams, cause any noticeable change in skin color. If someone actually wanted to create that yellow-orange fake tan effect on purpose, the most effective way would be through food, not supplements. Eating large amounts of beta-carotene-rich foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkins, and dark leafy greens is far more likely to do it. Trying to achieve the same effect with astaxanthin or lycopene supplements is unlikely to work and could even be risky if taken in excess. For example, high-dose isolated beta-carotene supplements, around 20 to 30 milligrams per day, have been linked to an increased risk of lung cancer, especially in smokers or people with past asbestos exposure. That's a strong reminder that more is not always better when it comes to supplements. Finally, results vary from person to person. Carotenosis tends to be more noticeable in lighter-skinned individuals, while in darker skin tones, it often shows up mainly as orange discoloration of the palms and soles. Either way, it's cosmetic, temporary, and not something astaxanthin is likely to cause at normal doses. Another common claim is that astaxanthin helps protect your skin from the sun. There is some truth here, but it's very limited. In one study, healthy adults who took 4 milligrams of astaxanthin daily for 9 weeks developed slightly less redness after UV exposure, and the exposed skin was not as dry. In real-world terms, these effects are subtle. You might notice your skin feel a little more hydrated or look slightly less blotchy after sun exposure. These benefits also don't show up overnight. They tend to appear only after long-term use, usually 8 to 16 weeks. Most importantly, astaxanthin does not replace sunscreen. It does not block UV rays or form a protective barrier on the skin. In the study, the skin was still damaged by UV radiation, just slightly less so. When it comes to sun protection, nothing comes close to sunscreen. What astaxanthin seems to do is act as an antioxidant, helping mop up some of the free radicals created when UV light hits the skin. That can slightly reduce damage, but it doesn't prevent it. Astaxanthin is often marketed as an antioxidant that's hundreds or thousands of times stronger than others. It is in fact a powerful antioxidant, but those dramatic numbers need context. They come from simplified lab tests or basic animal studies that measure how a purified molecule reacts with a single reactive compound in a test tube. That's very different from what happens in the human body. These tests don't account for digestion, absorption, liver metabolism, how the compound travels in the bloodstream, or how much actually reaches the skin. They also ignore the complex interactions happening inside real cells. These lab tests can offer clues, but they don't reliably predict real-world effects in humans. In practical terms, astaxanthin is a solid antioxidant and likely supports the body in much the same way other well-known antioxidants do, such as beta-carotene from carrots or lycopene from tomatoes. It looks especially impressive in petri dishes, but human biology is far more complicated than a lab bench. You can't take a capsule and suddenly boost your body's antioxidant power by hundreds of times. It's not going to work like that. Astaxanthin is also sometimes promoted as a performance booster for athletes. The evidence here is mixed and mostly underwhelming. A few small studies suggest it may help older adults. For example, one trial in nursing home residents found that taking 12 milligrams twice daily for 16 weeks increased walking distance, though it did not improve muscle strength. In younger, healthier people, the benefits are far less convincing. One small study in trained cyclists showed a slight improvement in time trial performance with 12 milligrams daily. However, a larger study using an even higher dose, 20 milligrams daily in a combination supplement, found no improvement at all. Other small studies in athletes found no reduction in muscle damage, soreness, or improvements in performance. Even energy levels after mental and physical tasks were unchanged in healthy adults taking astaxanthin-containing products. In practice, the exercise benefits of astaxanthin are heavily exaggerated in marketing. Older individuals may see a small boost in endurance, but for most people, any perceived benefit is likely no better than placebo. If performance is your goal, supplements like caffeine or L-carnitine have far stronger evidence behind them. Astaxanthin is a naturally occurring red-orange pigment found in marine foods like salmon, trout, shrimp, and lobster. These foods contain very small amounts, so it's not realistic to reach meaningful doses through diet alone. Most supplements are made by extracting astaxanthin from algae, especially a freshwater species called Haematococcus pluviatus. Astaxanthin is fat-soluble, which means it's poorly absorbed on an empty stomach. Taking it with a meal that contains fat can improve absorption, although even then, only a fraction of what you swallow actually makes it into circulation. So what's the bottom line? Astaxanthin may offer small skin benefits, mainly improved hydration and elasticity, but it's unlikely to reduce wrinkles. It's a strong antioxidant and may slightly reduce UV-related skin damage, much like other antioxidants such as vitamin C or vitamin E, but there's no evidence it works better than those options in people. Because astaxanthin is a carotenoid, extremely high intakes could theoretically tint the skin and create a fake tan, but this would require enormous, impractical doses well beyond normal supplementation. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Yeung. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. Finally, if you enjoy what we do and want to learn more, consider supporting us on Ko-fi, and be sure to check out our other socials as well.